I'll share with you a reflection I was praying with and thinking about this morning in light of what we were talking about earlier with regards to the one who enables us to pray. And as I was thinking about that and then thinking about the gospel and praying with the gospel, felt like the Lord just wanted me personally anyway to reflect on and then maybe to share with all of us the question, for what purpose are we praying? So the Spirit draws us to prayer, right? That is to say, to waste time with the Lord so that you and I will grow in conformity to the one that we're wasting time with. Right? That's supposed to be the end result, is that by the time I leave this earth, I look more like Jesus than I do now. How does that happen? It happens by regularly spending time with Jesus. We become like those we hang out with, right? You know the maxim, show me your friends, I'll tell you who you are. Right? So if the Lord's my friend, and I live in friendship with him, I should become more like him. That might be the way into the gospel. This is clearly one of the most challenging gospels that there is. If you think this is beautiful, you don't have an enemy. This is anything but beautiful. This is demanding as all get out. And it leads to tremendous confusion because it sounds like Jesus is saying something when in fact he's saying something else. That last line, be perfect as your Father is perfect, can't possibly mean be flawless as God is flawless, or we'd be doomed, right? And so it seems like it's setting us up for failure when in fact it's not. So what's it mean to be perfect as your Heavenly Father is perfect? So the word that's used there that we translate into perfect is the word from which you get in English you would translate it as end or intention or goal or aim. In other words, Jesus is saying, have the same intention that your Father has in everything you do. Have the same purpose as your Father has in everything you do. We talked Thursday night when we were talking about confession a little bit. Remember that passage in the gospel where Jesus says, as the Father has sent me, so I send you. What did the Father send the Son to do? To reconcile the world. The way the Archbishop puts this is, God's desire is that he get his world back. He wants his children back. He wants all of his children back. That's his intention. That's why he sent his Son. That's what the Son made possible by his death and his resurrection, is for all of us to get home. What's Jesus saying in the gospel? I think he's saying that to us today. Make sure that you don't see prayer as something that's only about you. It is about you. It's about me. But it's not just about me. It's about encountering the one who rescued us so that we would then be intent on being instruments in his hands to go and rescue others. We're doing a conference in a couple weeks at the parish, which is titled just that, Rescued so as to Rescue. That's the Christian life. It's being grasped out of the abusive household, brought into a new household, and then recognizing, I got friends who live in that house. I got to go get them. I want to bring them into this house. I want to bring them into the Father's house. Does that make sense? That's our life. That's why to be Christian is to be missionary. Not just, I get something out of this. I do. I get plenty. But then the Lord wants to use me as something like a living tool in his hands to go get and rescue others. So this reflection I was reading this morning gives us great visual. So it's as if you're an archer learning how to shoot an arrow, and Jesus is the coach, and he's trying to teach us. And so the commentator says, so it's as if you're standing like this, right? And the Lord comes and he puts his left hand on your left hand. And then he rests his chin right here on your shoulder. And he looks at the target with you. And then his right hand goes on top of your hand and he pulls the arrow back. The target, is to rescue others. because that's what he's set on. He's got his eye on every individual, and he's trying to make a beeline for them. Pun intended with the Michigan game today. All right? Can't say he's trying to make an Izzo on them. So he's got his eyes on all of them, right? On every single person, and he's trying to capture them. And he wants to use us to go find particular people so as to grab them and bring them home, right? And then as he pulls his hand back, the commentator, it's a great image, he says, aim higher, my friend. Aim higher. Aim so as to set the world on fire. That's what Jesus is saying to you and me when he says, be perfect as your Father is perfect. So as we continue to waste time with him today, we want to be mindful of the fact that even now, even though some of us are not yet even baptized, the Lord's trying to give to us not only the experience of being overwhelmed by his love, but growing in his love, so that we will then be consumed with the desire to go out and to help rescue others who are as we once were, however recent that might have been.